Hi, my name is Jason Perry, and I'm going to be talking with you about the barriers to paternal involvement and how to overcome those barriers. The barrier that we're going to be addressing today is that of program ambivalence. In other trainings, we've talked about the barrier of staff ambivalence that looks at how a staff person's individual attitudes can impact and become a barrier to paternal involvement. Today, we're going to give a draw the camera back a little bit and look at the program itself, the agency itself, and see what are some things that the agency can do to become the things that agencies do that become barriers and how you can overcome those things. So the current perception of MIH programs is that they exist primarily to serve women. And because that perception exists, it is important to create a space where men feel comfortable in becoming into that space and getting involved in those programs. So what you are asking yourself is, how father friendly is your program? So one of the things that you can do to overcome that barrier is to leverage your newness. Now, whether you are a new staff person or you are a veteran staff person, it is important that you look at your program with the fresh eyes of a newcomer. Think like a consultant, a person that hasn't become so well adjusted to the organizational culture that they operate within it without even thinking about it. You can evaluate your program's approach to and your attitude about fathers from the perspective of what it desires to do as opposed to what has already been or always been done. Using that fresh approach or that those new eyes can give you some great insights into your program and to help you assess properly your program's effectiveness. So again, assessing the program, you want to assess your program's progress to identify the areas of success and the areas that possibly need improvement. And so one of the things that you can do, what you're doing here is preparing the environment by ensuring the physical space is male friendly and the staff are trained and ready to welcome and to engage fathers. You should involve fathers in this process as they can provide some feedback and recommendations while still feeling engaged in the development of the program themselves. This is going to create some champions among your fathers to make them invested in the program and greater cheerleaders for what you're doing and more likely to help you. They will become more likely willing to help you engage other fathers in the process as well. So let's look at some questions that can help you assess your program in these two areas. Does the entire staff have an understanding of the role that men play in children's lives? This is part of what you're doing with this training and some other trainings that you may be involved in. The more your staff understands the importance of fathers, the more you invest in training and helping staff understand that, the more engaged that staff is going to be and the more effective your program is going to be. Is there a male on staff that fathers are able to connect with? Do they see anyone who looks like them that they can talk to? That is important. If there is no male on staff, is there a female staff trained to work specifically with men? Again, men are different than women. Men think a little bit differently than women, and fathers approach fathering different than mothers do. So it's important that those differences are respected, and someone is trained to help in that process. If there is if there's no male on staff, or if there's no women on staff that are trained to do that, perhaps there's a male volunteer or representative, maybe another father, who is the point man for fathering activities. Again, having a male on staff or someone to work with the men or a male volunteer is important in terms of engaging fathers. Is the physical environment welcoming to fathers? What is the color scheme? What do the colors look like? What are the magazines? What are the attitudes of the people who greet them when they come into the program? What are the posters on the wall? Are there resources available to speak to fathers? Or are the resources only directed at mothers or children? Do your promotional materials reflect fathers in the wording and in the images? Are there images of engaged fathers, or are there just images of mothers? Do the magazines or the promotional material that you use, does it encourage fathers or does it ignore them? I recognize that you may not have the capacity or the authority to bring about change in some of the areas that I've mentioned. That, however, doesn't prevent you from sharing your observations with the people who do have that capacity and that authority. Your input is critical to improving the organization's ability to reach fathers and to ensure improved outcomes for mothers, children, and indeed for families. We trust that these tips will enhance your ability to reach fathers, your capacity to engage fathers. And we thank you so much for your efforts.